When it comes to what your family eats and drinks, you know your choices matter. You're the expert because you know what fits your life. And getting it right starts with good information. That's why America's beverage companies are sharing more information about our ingredients at goodtoknowfacts.org. No spin, no judgments, just the facts straight from the experts for more than 140 beverage ingredients. Visit goodtoknowfacts.org.
Broadcasting intimate details and useless information from an undisclosed location in New York City. The Last Show with David Cooper.
Want to throw a Halloween party? Want to throw a Halloween party at a vacation rental? No, says Airbnb. You're not allowed to. I'm here with Carmi, Levy. It is time for technology time. We'll talk all the tech stories of the week you want to know about Airbnb and parties. It's a weird thing because like you're renting out your own home or your own property. But from the renter's perspective or the vacationer's perspective, they should be able to do whatever they want in the property. Carmi, welcome to the show.
Oh, it's good to be back with you. Although, there's a long history, for as long as Airbnb's been around, of stories where parties were held at properties and the places were absolutely trashed. A few years ago, there's a place in Calgary where the house literally had to be renovated back to the studs because it was just absolutely destroyed. And so, it is a problem. And so, yeah, I mean, should you be allowed to have a few friends over and have some drinks and music? Sure. But if it becomes a raging kegger that turns into, like essentially a reinvention of Animal House, I think that's a whole other story. And Airbnb has been hit hard by it over the years. And they're using this party detection technology that uses AI and machine learning to sort of try to guess, are you going to have a rager? Are you going to pull a John Belushi? Or, are you a legitimate renter? And if it sees those signs, it will either cancel the booking outright or suggest maybe, why don't you look at this property in this other place that may not be as conducive to holding a party. It's a thing. People have suffered huge losses, and Airbnb has a lot of liability because of it.
Yeah, but there's renters, or what do you even call them? Vacationers? I know,
Yeah.
whatever they're, they have like a name on the platform,
Yeah.
doesn't matter. But like they have three
Yes.
people over. The host has surveillance cameras all over the property, and they're like, you're not allowed to have guests because they had three people instead of two, and they, just had one beer. I feel like there are overzealous hosts that are really restrictive. And at that point, it's like, this is a vacation rental. People should be able to do whatever they want. I'm advocating more for the renter side, but yes, on the host side, there are people who abuse so bad and literally trash a property, just like there are at hotels, but the hotel is a little better equipped to fix up one room when they have 100 than an Airbnb host would have to fix up one room when they have the one room only.
Yeah, it's always a case of a small minority ruining it for pretty much everyone else because, the vast majority of Airbnb renters, guests, or whatever they call them, they are, and I, disclosure, I've used Airbnb many times and it's awesome. And I'm respectful. I treat the property as I would my own. I clean up after myself. I don't damage anything. I don't have strangers in. I'm pretty careful. And
Or at least that's what your lawyer told you to say, given the pending court case against you.
Exactly. I am under non-disclosure agreements. But, all it takes is one, right? So the vast majority of really good people who, leave the property as it was when they got there, they're not going to generate the headlines. It's the raging partygoers who will. And so, this technology, it's able to tell, is if it's a short-term rental, if it's booked really close to the date, if it's fairly close to where you live. I mean, all these are tells that sort of correlate to increased risk of this kind of thing happening. And yeah, I mean, while I appreciate that if you're renting a place under any guise, you should have, reasonable assumption of being able to use it as you wish without causing damage. I can kind of understand, the sort of based on history, based on the headlines we've seen over the years, why Airbnb would put this technology into place. And they started it just at the beginning of the pandemic as these incidents started to go public. They also activated on New Year's Eve. They activated in the summer as well. So like times when you will see a spike in the use of Airbnb, when you'll see more parties as well, or the potential for more parties, they'll activate it and then they'll also publicize it.
I guess in Canada Day, in the U.S., July 4th, Halloween. I mean, those are the two party days where everyone has the time off and goes nuts.
I was fascinated by the numbers. They said last year, using this technology in the U.S., about 38,000 people were blocked or redirected to another booking based on this technology. In Canada, the number was 6,300. So, of course, when you do that on a per capita basis, Canadians are more badass than Americans when it comes to Airbnb. We are more likely to party in an Airbnb.
Or they're piloting this technology and getting too many false positives in a country that isn't the U.S. I mean, that's another thing. Well, how do they know I'm a party animal? Like, is it my age? Is it my ethnicity? Is it my gender? I feel like this could get in weird discriminatory territory.
Sure, it absolutely could, because AI does get things wrong, right? And it will flag some things as false positive. Just ask anyone whose account on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok has been shut down, suspended because of weird activity. But of course, the platform doesn't tell you why. And as far as you're concerned, you are an absolute Boy Scout. So this is a problem. And so it doesn't flag things that should be flagged. It flags things that don't deserve to be flagged as well. And of course, there is no accountability because it's not like this is subject to any kind of federal regulation. The company can do as it wishes.
Yeah. I know your account's been deactivated many times, but again, you can't comment on it.
It's my dirty little secret.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. Don't tell, and don't tell my wife. She doesn't know this. She just knows that we keep moving from one Airbnb booking to another because I just keep telling her we got a better deal. But if she knew, I think she'd be shattered.
Carmi's on the run. Okay, this next one is an announcement by Nike. Are these new like powered shoes? It seems like something out of like a futuristic military cyborg bionic movie. Can I get one of these powered shoes, or is this just a prototype product? And what is a powered shoe? How will it help me run when I'm, my bones ache? What's going on?
It's called Project Amplify, and I wish we could buy it, but right now they've just announced it. They haven't put a price on it. They're not saying if and when they're going to be selling it. They're just developing the technology, and I think they're looking for reaction, trying to get feedback to determine how they continue to develop it. It's the first version of it. They call it the world's first powered footwear system, and it basically looks like a shoe, this very high tech carbon fiber shoe with like an ankle bracelet extension on top of it.
Oh, just like your ankle bracelet that you got. Oh, you're not supposed to talk about that because of pending court.
The one with the GPS alarm on it.
Yeah.
Don't tell me. I'm not sure if my parole officer listens, but if she is, good to see you, Elaine.
Now, is this something to assist people with disabilities? Is this just to help me walk faster? Maybe both? Like, what is it? Or are they really just sussing out the market for assisted footwear, if you will?
I think they're trying to figure it out because they're saying that it's not designed for ultra athletes. So if you're a competitive athlete who wants to, bring your marathon time down, probably not for you. It's really more casual athletes that, if you're already doing some running, maybe you run a couple of miles a week or whatever, it lets you go further. It lets you go faster with less effort. It's almost like an e-bike for runners. And so most e-bikes are being sold to the casual athlete. This is the same thing. It's sort of who it's going after. There definitely will be. I mean, this technology you can see would be a game changer as an assistive technology. So those who do have motion or movement disabilities could certainly benefit from technology like this. But Nike isn't saying. And I think they're just trying to keep their options open. And they're going to use that feedback to determine sort of how they develop this. What will Project Amplify version 2 look like? I think that's going to be based on the response to this. But certainly you can imagine the disabled community probably looking at technology like this and going, this could be an absolute game changer.
In the 70s, 4 young women were found dead. For nearly 50 years, their cases went cold. I'm Nancy Hixt, a senior crime reporter for Global News. In the season finale of Crime Beat, I share how investigators uncovered shocking evidence of a serial killer and hear exclusive interviews with the killer's family. Listen to the full season of Crime Beat early and ad-free on Amazon Music by asking Alexa to play the podcast Crime Beat.
When chatbots don't have many guardrails, I'm talking large language models, what happens? What do they end up saying and to whom? And is what they say something to worry about? Well, that's exactly what one mom found when her teenage son asked Grok's AI chatbot about soccer. What the chatbot told the teen or sent the teen or told him what to do was kind of a problem. I'm here with Carmi Levy. It is time for technology time. Carmi, welcome to the show.
Good to be back. Thanks for having me, David.
Okay, I think it's every parent's nightmare that their kid goes on the internet, does something innocent, and what they find is utterly inappropriate. What happened with this Toronto teen, or at least what this Toronto mom is saying? What happened when they chatted with Grok, Tesla's chatbot, about soccer?
So this is a bonkers story. So Grok, of course, it is brought. It's kind of like the equivalent of ChatGPT. It's a chat bot. It comes to us from a company called XAI, founded and led by Elon Musk. It has also been integrated into X, also led by Elon Musk, owned by Elon Musk. And so over the last month in Canada, the Grok chatbot was added in a software update to Teslas, so that as you're driving around in your Tesla, you can ask Grok questions. You can have a chat with it. It basically becomes your on-the-go electronic assistant. So imagine this Toronto mom. Her name is Farah Nasser. Might be familiar to global viewers. She used to be the anchor there. And so she's driving in her Tesla with her 12-year-old son and their other kid, their friend. And the son is chatting in the car with Grok about soccer. He's a big soccer fan. So he asks, who's your favorite soccer player, Cristiano Ronaldo or Lionel Messi? And the bot says, well, Ronaldo's my favorite. So they start talking about, these two players, and they start just jokingly trash talking Messi. And it goes back and forth, kids having a lot of fun with it because he's a 12-year-old boy. And then out of the blue, Grok, the bot, goes, hey, why don't you send me some nudes? And
what? Wait. Why don't you send me some explicit photographs of yourself?
In the car with the mother, you're behind the wheel, listening to all of this going on. And so, of course, she stops the car and obviously stops the conversation. But it illustrates and Grok, of course, has been known as the bad boy of chatbots. Elon Musk, when he released it, said it was anti-woke, that, he is a free speech absolutist, that the usual guardrails that are in place on other chatbots, he didn't want them. He wanted it to be all about free speech. Say what you want, do what you want, no restrictions at all. Don't let the technology, nannies limit your fun. And so that's what Grok has always been. And so obviously in this case, it clearly went off the rails in a pretty spectacular fashion, and the mom is going public about it.
But I think to say it went off the rails would suggest that Grok's AI was on the rails to begin with, which it never was.
That's right. And this is all by design. And we know that chatbots in general have a tendency to do this. And the longer you speak with them, the more likely they are to have an anomalous or kind of off the rails moment. But Grok is especially so because by design, the way it's marketed, its branding is deliberately different from every other bot out there. And in this case, obviously, this is what we end up with. Kids being exposed to inappropriate content in a rather spectacular fashion.
All right. Well, that's a fun one. That Toronto mom is, I guess, going to stop using Grok in her Tesla. Also, why does a car need a chatbot? It's like, I don't know.
It doesn't. My car has a button, and I can use either Google Assistant or Siri in my car, depending on which phone I have plugged in. And I can't stand using it. I find voice control at the wheel incredibly distracting. And even though hands-free laws make this acceptable because it's quote unquote built into the car, quite frankly, I think we use them at our peril, and I do not think they assist safety. I think they detract from it.
I don't have Siri enabled on any of my devices, but I gotta say, I like it as a feature because watching my parents in their 70s try to use Siri, get into fights with Siri, not understand like when it's recording and when it's not, and then like saying it again and yelling it louder and faster as if that'll make it work better is one of my great joys.
Some of my kids' favorite memories of their late grandfather, my late father-in-law, are of when he wrestled with the voice control system. It was an early system in his car, and he would say one word and it would, bark back another, and he never got it right, and he always ended up just dissolving into anger. And it was my kids thought it was the funniest thing, and to this day they laugh whenever they share those stories.
Let's get an update on the TikTok deal that's supposed to happen in the U.S. Something was supposed to happen with it today, but the president right now is in Asia. I think he met with Chinese officials. And is it ever going to go through? Are they ever going to force TikTok to be sold or have a majority interest that's here in the U.S.? I don't know. If I were to guess, I would say this ball is going to keep getting kicked down the road until ever. We were the big announcement was supposed to come today, and now there's nothing.
And it's not like and they have been selling this. So Trump has been saying the deal's been finalized, and I'm going to meet with President Xi Jinping on Thursday, and we're going to sign it. And his Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent is basically saying the same thing, and they just keep hyping it and hyping it. And this has been going on for weeks, and then the actual meeting happens, and they don't talk about it, and there is no deal. Nothing has been signed, and all along, they said nothing about it. It was the U.S. that was hyping it up, the Trump administration that wanted to use it as kind of a sign that they've won or something. And yet here we are, China. Clearly, they've never been happy with this deal at all. They've never been happy with the law that forces the company to sell its American operations in the first place or risk being shut down. And they have said time and again that they would oppose such a deal. And so as the U.S. was crowing, we're going to close this, get it over the finish line, China basically said nothing and then waited until today and continued to say nothing. So they signed some kind of trade agreement that pulls back some of the tariffs, but TikTok was not included in that, which suggests the U.S. is going to keep, as you said, kicking the football down the road. And Donald Trump can keep doing this. That law is in effect, but he can keep delaying it. And he's been doing it by 3-month increments. And the next one is coming up in January. I would expect that it'll continue to be pushed, and he'll continue to try to pretend to the American public that this is actually going to be a thing. No, Mr. Trump, it is not.
Okay, let's talk about this Amazon outage from last week that we covered a lot. I don't want to get too nerdy about it, but they now have like a reason why it happened, and it's not looking good. It was perhaps just like one single point of failure, which as a huge web services cloud company, you should have redundancy.
Yeah, that's what's striking about this is they say now that it was a software bug in what's known as their DNS management system or domain name system, and which is basically the addressing. It's how traffic gets. And again, I'll oversimplify, and you probably know way more about this than I do. But
it is when you type like google.com in your web browser, the address of the computer you connect to is this long number. And so the way that it turns the word Google into the correct address for the computer is like this layer called domain names and DNS, and it's supposed to work, and it needs to work properly. If you type Google, you got to go to the right computer. You can't be going to Amazon. And every large company deploys this sort of routing system, and it seems like that's what broke.
Yeah, and what's shocking here is that it was a simple or a single software issue that then cascaded into a global software issue. And so the company admits that it was not segmented. In other words, it didn't just take down one part of their network or one machine or one segment. Before you knew it, it was affecting the entire network and everything across data centers globally, which was absolutely shocking. The fact that the architecture allowed it to cascade to this scale, which I think suggests that Amazon has some explaining to do about the architecture that it uses to manage its global cloud services, and that it needs to invest more money in ensuring that a failure in one part of it, in one server farm in a data center in West Virginia, doesn't become a global problem like it did here. And the irony of this is just as Amazon was sharing these details about its cloud outage, Microsoft was having its own cloud outage with its Azure services, which took down Office subscriptions around the world. So if all you wanted to do was, maybe send an email in Outlook or write a document in Word, which I'm guessing a couple of businesses in the world do this every day, you couldn't for hours on end. And so it's not just an Amazon problem, it's an industry problem. How these small issues become global, I think it's a question that these companies need to answer.
Carmi, what a pleasure it was having you. Thanks for being on the show.
Appreciate being with you, David. Thank you.